All right, I'm here with Joe
Chapman.
Chapman. He's a private pilot. He's been flying for his whole life, or like 3 years, one of the two.
3 years.
So, Joe, right now at Purdue University, the hangars are unlocked at all times. Any student could go to the airport, walk into the hangar. There have been instances of homeless people being in hangars, people that aren't supposed to be in hangars. You can walk out onto the runway with no stopping you, basically. It's pretty much just the honor system right now. What are some potential dangers, problems you see with that?
Well, honestly, it's incredibly surprising that, you can just walk into the terminal and then walk out a door and then bam, you got access to the ramp and all the runways, right? Like, I can't think of, any other airport of this size with the kind of operations that we get here where that's acceptable. I'm from a airport that I would say is about the same size back home, and I did an internship there, and they got a university on the field there too, and they have regional airline operations, which aren't too different than the kinds of aircraft that we see in and out of here a lot, and a large corporate holding too, which we also get in Lafayette, and it's really surprising that you just have that immediate ramp access. In Dubuque, at the Dubuque Regional Airport, they got that stuff on tight security. The terminal, which is really the only place that normal people can have access to in the first place, all the doors are locked, super tight security. There's video cameras going all the time, which are linked directly up to the operations center at the airport, which all the 24-hour ops guys are looking at, all the time while they work and work on their other stuff. And so here, I've been studying out at the terminal. That's a favorite study spot of mine, and it's really crazy just that I can open up a door if it gets too hot in there and get a cool breeze, but also someone, if they wanted to, could open up that door and just run out onto the ramp and onto the runway and cause some problems. I've never seen anything really like it.
So what are some of why don't we want people to have this access? Why don't we want a big old crowd of people in the hangar hanging out in the runway hanging out?
Well, my experience, I worked in an airport back home, same airport, and as a line guy, and we had an aviation day where we had people come out to the airport and look at airplanes and stuff like that, and we had an air show too that wasn't at the airport, but we had all the airplanes that were in the airport obviously flying out of Dubuque. So the amount of people, it was surprising, the amount of people that came to the Jet Center, the FBO there on the field, and just to look at airplanes through the window was surprising. We had several instances where people would just walk out on the ramp and look at the F-18s or looking at the T-28s or whatever. And we had to, tell them, hey, you can't come out here, get the heck back in. We had a day for you guys to come out and check it out, and now
That's
that's
not
not the day. Get off the ramp, you're not supposed to be here, right? So
what could they do? What could they do? Could they damage planes?
So really they could damage airplanes. As a pilot myself, I don't like people, just being around my airplane, touching it, right? If I'm not watching them, if I'm not, there, obviously you're doing pre-flights and stuff like that all the time, but, there's always stuff that can go wrong and stuff that you can miss, and, ultimately, I don't want somebody hurting, an airplane that I'm responsible for, and then I can't go flying in the first place, which, sucks too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then of course the biggest thing I'd say is, if you got people who aren't familiar with it, just kind of wandering around out on an active ramp, shoot, man, you got airplanes taxiing around, you could hit somebody, they could get in the way of something, you got to close down areas on the runway. For example,
Just all around hazard.
Yeah, just total hazard. Someone could, if they were crazy enough, they could go through to the terminal right now, open up that door that you guys use to get to the engine lab or whatever. Open that up, and if they ran fast enough, I guarantee you they could get onto what is that, 2-3? They get on 2-3 really, really quick, which is where the majority of the Purdue airplanes are coming in and out of. So, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't take long for somebody to catch them, but by that point you got several airplanes having to go around, and it's a mess.
So what security and stuff did you see that worked, or what do you think would work here at Purdue that we could implement?
Well, one real simple option is just, I think through the terminal, just closing the doors, locking the doors. I've seen people come down and lock the doors, but I think just having that, locked all the time is big. I think too, just eliminating the need for you guys to go outside and go around the lab to get into the hangar there would be good.
Make it easier, just not go.
Just not go outside, right? Like just going through another way, because you can go through that lab, can't you? The non-destructive aircraft testing lab to get to the engine.
Probably, I think so.
Yeah, because that's what we did the one time for AT-103. We didn't mess with the ramp at all.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
So how should we? So the doors are locked. How should we get people in that are supposed to be in there?
Well, the big thing that you could do is ID. So you could badge the people at the airport that are supposed to be out on the ramp, right? I mean that would really solve most of your problems.
Are we hiring a security guard, or is it more of like a tap in, kind of like the dorm?
Well, generally, yeah, it'd be something like that. I mean, shoot, man, you could add a modifier on the Purdue IDs that tell you like this person has ramp access.
Like we got meal plans, $9.
Exactly.
You got ramp access, like that.
Exactly. Like you could even make like a little,
extra
little
sticker on it or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe add a little airplane like symbol on the student card to say like this person's with aviation. They have access to this ramp area, right?
And then my next question was going to be, how would you keep people accountable? But it's whether they have the access or not, whether they have the card or not.
So obviously, if keeping accountable, I think would just be like if you abuse that, right? Then you get
people giving their card to their friend, or
something like that, or
card.
They go somewhere that they're not necessarily supposed to be. Like then it's really easy to take that privilege away, and then maybe look at
What about type of like a Duo Mobile?
Yeah,
you could do the card and then you hit your phone.
You could do something like that.
I mean, just that would be way easier.
You could do. There's a lot of options you could do to
just anything.
yeah, really, and like I mean, shoot, man, like back at my home airport, we're talking about we got a new airline in, which is a lot bigger now. So part of that having bigger aircraft on the field with a scheduled service like that is that you have to ID everyone that has ramp access. So I'm a tenant there. I'm a part of a flying club. We got a few airplanes on the field there, so I need to be able to drive onto the ramp area, non-movement area, park my car, pull out my airplane, get all my stuff going, go flying and all that. But I'll probably have to get a badge that says like I'm allowed to be there, and that's part of the FAA's overall security thing. And we don't have scheduled service here at Lafayette at all, right? But it still wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea just because of the amount of action and stuff going on. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe.
Absolutely, thank you.